My name is Sarah LaValle, and today I'll be talking about why you should choose to adopt from animal shelters rather than buying newborn animals. Today I'll be talking about just a few reasons why you should adopt from animal shelters rather than buying from independent animal sellers. The first reason being that most animal shelters are overpopulated, which can cause many problems that we will get into. The second reason is that many of the animals that live at these shelters need a second chance at life, be it they come from a poor family that treated them poorly or they were lost on the streets. The third reason is animals who are adopted from animal shelters are most likely going to be more sociable and play well with other animals as well as humans. More animal lives will be saved due to the fact of buying from animal shelters, and the money that is used to pay for the animals goes towards vaccines and sterilization methods for all the other animals. Our first reason for adopting from animal shelters is the fact that most of these shelters are overpopulated. Most animal shelters are nonprofit organizations, so they don't really have the money to get brand new and a lot more shelter and funding for these animals. So it really is just what the animal shelters have, and if they don't have enough room or the ability to take care of all the animals, they will unfortunately start euthanizing the animals. The money that people spend to buy these animals goes towards vaccinations and making sure it's a clean and healthy living space for these animals and making sure they can be treated right and be as healthy as possible. Nearly 1.5 million animals are euthanized every year because there's not enough room for them, it's not safe for them, and these animal shelters just don't have the funding necessary to take care of all these animals. Due to this fact, many illnesses and diseases are spread very easily throughout the shelters, which can be very detrimental for the animals. Many of these animals were never really given a chance at a good life. Some of these animals may have been rescued from violent homes or just homes where people don't treat them right, don't feed them, don't play with them. Or some of these animals could be rescued from the streets, whether they're lost or someone just dropped them off, and they're just really headed down a very bad path in life, and many of them do deserve a chance at a good life. The animals at animal shelters lack basic love and affection that pets receive, which could be very detrimental to the mental growth of the animal. And many of the animals at animal shelters are just babies and haven't had a chance to live yet or have a good life, and it'd be very sad for them to spend their whole life at an animal shelter. Animals that are adopted from animal shelters are normally well socialized. They tend to interact well with other animals because they've been around them, they've had the chance to grow up and learn how to be friendly and play well with them. They're gentle with animals that need a little bit more care just because, again, they've grown up there, they've been around it their whole lives. And they tend to be nice to humans because a lot of humans do walk through animal shelters just to say hi or browse all the animals, and they get to play with all these humans, and so they really grow to know how to interact with humans, especially children. They tend to be very gentle with young children. Another reason to adopt from animal shelters is the fact that it saves lives. Like I said before, approximately 1.5 million animals are euthanized every year due to overpopulation in the animal shelters. These shelters don't have the funding to take care of and provide the necessary shelter and food and needs that these animals require. When an animal is rescued from an animal shelter, it opens up more space to bring in another animal who could then have the opportunity to become someone's pet and to get adopted themselves. Buying animals provides the necessary funding for animal shelters to vaccine all these other animals, which ensures the safety of all the other animals in the shelter, and you have a better chance at getting a healthy animal because of this. Animals that live in animal shelters also need to be vaccinated and sterilized just like any other pet. But if no one is there to pay for it or do it, then they can't receive these vaccines that will keep them healthy and help them to have a good life. Paying for an animal at an animal shelter helps the funding for vaccines and sterilization. It improves the overall safety of all of the animals at the animal shelter and improves the quality of the animal that people will be getting if they choose to adopt a pet. Buying animals also provides money for shelter and food and bathing the animals and making sure they have a very nice life and making sure they're raised right in order to become the perfect pet for someone's family. Adopting an animal from an animal shelter at any time will really improve the animal's quality of life. It may also improve the quality of life of many animals that could be adopted from that shelter. Attached, I have a short video explaining the benefits from adopting a pet from an animal shelter rather than just from an independent breeder.
You know, some people would say, geez, rescuing a dog with the baggage that they may bring, that's a much harder thing to do and maybe too much trouble, as opposed to just finding one from a good breeder where you know it's healthy as a puppy and just move through the process. Why engage in the rescue effort?
Because there's so many unwanted animals out there that it really helps. If you walk through a shelter and you see them all, you can't help but want to bring one home because they're just sitting there wanting to be loved. You're right about the baggage. This is my second rescue dog, and the first one, unfortunately, didn't get us along so well with my son. So we found a good home for him from the people we had fostered him from. But as you know, you have one too. It's very rewarding when you can give an animal love like that. When breeders are going to sell their dogs, they're going to get sold. They're going to get homes anyway. These are the dogs that won't get homes, so that's why you take on the extra baggage. Please.
Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and the next time you're looking to adopt a new animal, I hope you really consider adopting from your local animal shelter. Thank you.